Former U.S. Defense Intelligence Officer Rebekah Koffler has asserted that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's expired term has created significant obstacles in peace negotiations, as Russia refuses to engage with him due to legitimacy concerns. Koffler's comments, made during a recent Fox News appearance, highlight a growing debate over Ukraine's leadership amid the ongoing conflict.
There has been a lot made about Ukraine not being a part of this particular meeting today. So what about that and the ultimate goal of today's discussions?
Well, the ultimate goal that President Trump has is to bring the peace to Ukraine, because Ukraine is being obliterated right now. Almost 1 million Ukrainian men are either dead or deadly wounded. Okay, so the reason why Zelensky right now is not included is because he is irrelevant at this point. In fact, he's an illegitimate as president. His presidency expired in May, and the Russians stated very clearly and unequivocally that they would only negotiate with some legitimate authority. And you have, when Putin says something, Carly, you have to read between the lines. Like, from the intelligence perspective, we're looking at it, and what Putin says is that, no, he's not going to negotiate with Zelensky. He's going to insist first on the elections being held in Ukraine so that a legitimate president with whom Putin will negotiate assumes that role. So we are right now expecting a very protracted, very complicated negotiations, but that is because the Biden administration has eroded President Trump's position. So let's see what happens. President Trump appointed some really heavyweights, and they're going to play a very strategic.
But President Trump did say that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be a part of these negotiations.
He did say, of course, he has to say that because Zelensky is, ostensibly the president, but Putin is an attorney in addition to being an economist. He knows the constitution of Ukraine as well as he does the Russian constitution. Putin is very clear that, and Zelensky, by the way, boxed himself in a legal conundrum because elections could not be held right now during the martial law, because that's what Zelensky has done. Only Verkhovna Rada can change that. But because Verkhovna Rada, which is the parliament of Ukraine, is controlled by Zelensky, who holds the majority.
Got it.
So it's a chicken and egg problem.
Okay.
Zelensky's presidential term officially ended in May 2024, yet he remains in power due to martial law, which has suspended elections. According to Koffler, this situation undermines Ukraine's ability to negotiate a peace settlement. The reason why Zelensky right now is not included is because he is irrelevant at this point. His presidency expired in May, and the Russians stated very clearly and unequivocally that they would only negotiate with some legitimate authority, Koffler said. The Ukrainian parliament, Verkhovna Rada, is controlled by Zelensky's party and has not taken steps to amend the law to allow elections. This has led to a constitutional dilemma where elections cannot be held under martial law, yet martial law remains in place under Zelensky's administration. Koffler described this as a chicken and egg problem, where the legal framework prevents a clear resolution. The situation aligns with Russian President Vladimir Putin's stance, who has dismissed Zelensky's leadership as illegitimate and insists on engaging only with a newly elected Ukrainian president. Putin is very clear that he will not negotiate with Zelensky, Koffler stated. He is insisting first on elections being held in Ukraine so that a legitimate leader can assume that role. This impasse raises questions about the effectiveness of the Biden administration's foreign policy in handling the conflict. Koffler argues that the U.S. has failed to recognize the legal complexities surrounding Zelensky's presidency, potentially weakening efforts to broker peace. She suggests that former President Donald Trump's approach, which involves appointing key strategists to navigate diplomatic negotiations, could offer a more effective solution. Despite these challenges, Trump has publicly stated that Zelensky will be included in the broader diplomatic process, though analysts speculate this may be more of a diplomatic formality rather than a substantive decision. Of course, he has to say that because Zelensky is, ostensibly the president, Koffler remarked. As peace talks continue, the debate over Zelensky's legitimacy remains a crucial factor in determining Ukraine's future. Observers suggest that resolving this constitutional issue may be necessary to move forward with any lasting diplomatic agreement.